Shiba Inu making a comeback. My analysis uncovers new data. What if Shiba Inu could actually rise even more than expected in 2025? I've really broken down and fully analyzed Shiba Inu using my 20 key metrics. You'll not only find out whether it's worth getting in now, but also how high the Shiba Inu price could realistically go in 4 different scenarios, including up to 2030. And at the end, I'll share a scenario that almost no one has on their radar. Welcome to Tokenomics by Marius, your channel for honest, data-driven altcoin analysis. Shiba Inu has destroyed 41% of its total supply through active burning. But what does that really mean? And why could that be exactly what leads to a massive comeback? Let's start with the story first. What exactly is Shiba Inu? Well, it was launched in 2020 as a meme coin. Today, there's an entire ecosystem behind it. Shibarium as a layer 2, for example, Shiba Swap as a DEX, NFT games, and soon even its own marketplace. So you can already see, they're building, and building. It's not just a simple meme coin. They were built on Ethereum, but with their own scaling system, in other words, the layer 2 solution Shibarium. They're proof of stake, they're fast, and they're cheap. But what do you actually need Shiba Inu for? On the one hand, of course, for gas fees on Shibarium, but also for staking on Shiba Swap and for payments within the community. And with over 1.3 million holders, Shiba Inu is one of the largest and most decentralized meme coins out there, which naturally makes it extremely interesting for investors. A few more quick facts: 99.95% of the tokens are in circulation. They have an active burn system, which makes it deflationary. They have a strong community, the Shiba Army. The roadmap includes games, a metaverse, and a marketplace. The trading volume is extremely high and the FDV is almost the same as the market cap. But before we dive into the full analysis, grab yourself a coffee, leave a like for me, and then let's go. But a quick disclaimer, my channel is not financial advice, it's purely for informational purposes. First, as always, let's look at the market cap. Shiba is sitting at around 8 billion, so in terms of mid-cap, it's not a giant, but it's also not a tiny dwarf. And the important thing is that this market cap isn't just based on hype, but on growing real interest and, above all, real use cases, because it's not your typical meme coin. A solid 7 here. And the next point is the circulating supply. As already mentioned, 99.95% of SHIB tokens are already in circulation. There's almost no new supply coming in. That means, of course, minimal dilution, which is extremely positive. And with that, they have a huge advantage over most altcoins, where a ton of tokens are still set to hit the market, obviously. By the way, where you can find Shiba Inu or other altcoins, I've linked for you in the video description or in the pinned comment. My favorite crypto exchange. If you sign up using my link, you'll also get a bonus. Thanks for your support. Here, a strong 8. To the next. So, what does the roadmap actually look like? What do they have planned? How well have they followed through on the roadmap in the past? The roadmap is ambitious. Shibarium Layer 2 solution, Chip Hub, among other things, their own marketplace that they want to develop. 2 of their own games, so for a meme coin, they're doing an incredible amount. There's a lot more happening here than with any other meme coins. That's why, in this area, it's really a strong 9. Let's move on to the next point. How strong is the team? Who's actually behind Shiba Inu? The team is mostly anonymous. However, the lead developer and Lucy, who's in charge of marketing, are partly known. That can help build trust, but of course, it's also tricky when most of the team remains anonymous. Naturally, that always carries certain risks. That's why, in this area, it's more of a solid 6. Let's move on to the narrative. What narrative does Shiba actually have? Well, Shiba Inu has evolved from a meme to a platform. That's definitely impressive, because they're not just tapping into one narrative, the meme coin narrative, but now several: gaming, Web3, and even the metaverse. Here, a strong 8. So, what problem are they actually solving? Well, they do solve a specific problem. High gas fees on Ethereum, of course, because the layer 2 Shibarium is cheaper, faster, and also serves as a payment ecosystem token. So, a solid 7 here. So, are they actually energy efficient, or how do they perform in that area? That's always important for investors who really care about that and are focused on the future. SHIB is ultimately based on Ethereum. Since the merge to proof of stake, Ethereum has also become very energy efficient. That means lower energy consumption and several other advantages. So here, a strong 9 as well. Next, what about investors? How are they positioned in that regard? Well, SHIB is more community-based, but they did have $12 million in funding for Shibarium. That's definitely an advantage. Still, in this area, it's more of a solid 6. Now let's move on to the competition. Who are the competitors? Dogecoin, Pepe, Floki. By the way, I've already analyzed both Dogecoin and Floki, for example. Check out the playlist. I've linked the 10x universe for you in the video description. In any case, SHIB has a huge advantage here, of course, because they have a functioning ecosystem, Layer 2, DEX, NFT games. So they're extremely well positioned here. That's why they get a strong 7 in this area. Next point, marketing. How strong is SHIB in marketing? Of course, it thrives on its community. The Shiba army is loud, active, and loyal. It's not perfect marketing, but it's authentic and community-based. So they're stronger here. And next point, what's the situation? Are they easy to understand? Is the idea simple? They're easy to understand. Basically, it's a meme coin with its own ecosystem. That's still easy to grasp, so in this area, a strong 7. Then, the coin is actually deflationary and Shiba has a fixed maximum supply, which is of course extremely good. 41% of that has already been burned. They have an active burn system, so a strong 9 here as well. Then FDV, what does that look like? In the end, it's 7.93 billion. Market cap is at 7.92 billion, so almost identical. That means there's no overblown valuation. It's pretty safe for investors here, a 10. Now let's move on to the vision. Ultimately, they want to continue building out their platform. When it comes to vision, they're also very strong in this area, a solid 8. Now let's move on to the next point. Are they deflationary? And the thing is, they have a fixed maximum supply, which is extremely good, and over 41% of it has already been burned because they have an active burn system, which of course increases the value in the long run. A strong 9. So, what about the FDV? It's pretty close. Market cap, so almost identical, no overblown valuation. That provides security, a solid 10 here. Next point, what about liquidity? The ratio is 0.045. That means they're extremely liquid, high trading volume, high interest, a strong 10. How was the initial token distribution? Actually, 50% actually went to Uniswap right at the start, and 50% to Vitalik. But Vitalik burned all or almost all of it. There weren't any typical vesting plans or anything like that. By burning, they naturally gained stability. A strong 7 here. So, who are the top coin holders? Actually, the top 10 wallets hold 60%, and the top 100 hold over 74%. That's pretty high, but with 1.3 million wallets, it's widely distributed. A 6 here. So, what about the use case? SHIB is used for Shibarium fees and staking payments. Real-world use cases are still limited, but the ecosystem is definitely growing here. A strong 6. Then the community, the Shiba army, of course, is huge, loyal, active on X, Reddit, Telegram, with millions of reach, a real movement. They're really, really strong in this area. By the way, are you a Shiba Inu holder? Then drop a #SHIB in the comments. That earns a strong 10 here as well. So, what events are still coming up this year? SHIB Hub launch, new conferences, new games, small and big triggers spread out over the next few months. A solid roadmap, good events. They're really solidly positioned here. 8. Now let's get to the conclusion, straight to the point. Honestly, I wouldn't have thought so myself, but Shiba actually counts as one of the stronger projects in the memecoin space because they're not just a classic memecoin. With 76.3%, they're also in a very good range here for a memecoin. That's really solid. Feel free to check my 10x ranking list. Why? Well, almost 100% of the supply is already in circulation. They have deflationary structures through burnings, utility with Shibarium Layer 2, but also games and a swap, they've got it all. They have a huge and strong community, and they don't have an overblown valuation. In short, SHIB hasn't really been a memecoin for a long time now, but is actually a functioning decentralized Web3 ecosystem. Now let's move on to the different price scenarios. In the bear case, it would be more like the price goes down, the share really decreases here, and, let's say, that's not really growth. In the normal case, there would be a small increase, which, let's say, is realistic given the market cap. The growth potential isn't that huge anymore. In the optimistic scenario, they could really pick up some momentum. If the entire crypto market grows, then in the end, SHIB would naturally grow as well. And by 2030, they could see massive growth, simply because they have the advantage of constantly refining their ecosystem and gaining more and more benefits. Especially if Ethereum, let's say, becomes more and more popular again, SHIB could really benefit from that as well. Then prices could become possible that are currently still unimaginable. By the way, I have another exciting altcoin analysis for you here, explaining why banks are really betting on this altcoin and why they're almost experiencing FOMO over the coin. I promise you, it's going to be very exciting. Check out the analysis. See you soon and thanks for watching.